Hello. So I'm giving you an update. So what happened now was, after 4 nights on the street, I'm almost dead, feeling so ill and frozen, with terrible throat and everything, that the bank, I got through to them, and they put me in Premier Inn last night. But I have to leave today, because that's all they could do, because I've got overdraft over the overdraft with zero money in the bank account. And a minus 500 it is, and then a minus of goodness knows what else. And so they made sure there was enough, and they put me in the local premier so that I'm not on the streets. But tomorrow I'm on the street. Well, today I'm on. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. In 2 hours I'm on the streets. I've got to leave, but I slept non-stop. I hadn't eaten for days because I've got zero money, and that's the honest truth. I'm in a bad way. I'm in a really bad way. So what happened since I left the hotel, they say they finished their duty of care and I have to live outside forevermore. They left me on the streets. I was in a terrible state. I got this other overdraft. I looked on the internet, which was cheaper, so it was Southport was cheaper, and I knew Southport, so I went and stayed in a hotel for 2 nights in Southport. And then money ran out and everything. And they wouldn't help me here because I'm not under their thing. And then it was a weekend, and they told me to go to the police to this crisis care cafe, and I went there, and they were very nice there. The women there were very nice and helpful, and they called this other woman out. They said she was a CEO of something to do with hostels. This woman came out, and I thought, oh, good, she'll help. But when I saw her, I could see what type of person she was, as hard as nails, so she was awful. You have to pull yourself together. That's what she told me when I was crying. My eyes out hysterical, in a terrible state. I'm sorry, because my tonsils are up. They're meeting. I feel awful. I can hardly swallow. Anyway, so she, I can't breathe properly. It's a bit tight. She did that. They put me in this awful hostel for 2 nights. Oh, it was horrific. Anyway, I couldn't cope with it. And so then they go, and the police and everything, I get involved. And they, then the police ring Chastu, say they're not going to do anything, and the police get involved, and they say they have to because they can't leave me on the street and all this. So then they promise the police that if I go back to Chester, somebody will meet me on the station because of my vulnerable state, and that they will put me in a taxi to a hotel for that night, and then this caseworker, I'll show you him later, will deal with it the next day. So I thought, okay, I went on 2 trains to get there. They gave me a ticket. When I get the other side, there's nobody to meet me. Nothing happens, no phone call, nothing. So the police at the railway station contact them. I'm just trying to make it brief, otherwise it goes off. And they say, no, they finished their duty of care. They don't know what they're talking about. So I think, I don't know what to do, because I know the streets of Chester at night with the heroin addicts, and they put them all in tents now. It's quite scary. So I got back on the train to Southport, where it's not peaceful and there's nobody about, swans on lakes, lots of benches. And I get back to Southport in a terrible state. So then I'm out all night again. And the following night, well, I'm in such a bad way, because what happened then was they weren't going to do anything. The police got involved and everything again. And the police have been helpful. They're the only ones who were any help. And they took me to the A&E. So he drove me there. They said that the crisis care team there would help and sort you out, don't worry. And the police have told me they'll put you in a Premier Inn when you're disabled like that. Of course they didn't. They didn't do anything. Anyway, so I go there. And I'm there from about approximately 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Can't remember the time. Don't leave till midday. It's awful stuck in the A&E. And in that hospital, it's awful in Southport Hospital. They've got all the people in beds down corridors, really ill, queuing up for hours. It's awful. Anyway, don't see anyone, because the police brought me in and said I was homeless, so I'm treated like a lump of shit when I get there anyway. So I saw this woman who wasn't even a doctor or anything. So they didn't get to do anything with my throat, and they did nothing. And they said that this woman, who's a CEO woman of the hostels, was coming there again. She knew her. She said, oh, she's my friend. She's coming in a bit to wait for her. She came, and she said she'd spoken to Chester West, and she was absolutely horrible to me. She said, you're not mentally ill. You're not suicidal. There's nothing wrong with you. And they've told you they finished their duty of care. And I said, but you told me it was illegal when you saw me in the thing, that they can't leave you on the streets. Well, I don't know, that's up to them. She said, but we can't have you here, because she said, you're, what did she say? You're not from this area, so nobody's going to help you here, and all this. And it was terrible. Anyway, the police got involved again with me and said they can't leave me on the streets. They ring the local council. And then they say they've got a place for me, and they make me walk there, which took me hours. I eventually find it, and it turns out to be a very seedy hostel, one of hers again, I no doubt. And it's like prisons. It's like prison cell in there. I couldn't go in. I said, no, I can't cope. It was so horrific. It wasn't clean or anything. It was horrific. So I said, I'm better off outside. So they didn't care and just let me go because they don't give a shit. Hard as nails. So luckily, a member of the public saw me fainting, and she picked me up and calmed me down. And she gave me £10 and made sure I had something to eat. And she was so sorry for me, and she was lovely and didn't know what to do. And I said, no. I said, look, I told her what had happened with the ambulance and everything. Well, she said, well, you make sure you have something to eat and settle down. They can't leave you on the streets. You must contact somebody. So I said I would, and I went off. Anyway, so that's what happened from then on in. And then because I was so ill, I was onto the bank, and the bank was concerned, and they put me here. And now I'm leaving today, and that's what's happened so far. So they've been horrendous to me, absolutely horrendous to me. And it's Chester West Council of Demons, the housing option team there, and this terrible caseworker, Satan himself he is. And I think Pervert Paul, well, I thought, oh, the things he says is extreme, you know what I mean, when he's got newspaper cuttings on the wall and all that. But I'm telling you something about Pervert Paul. He was spot on about this. They are trying to kill me. I think it's more sinister than we think. I know you'll think, oh, she's paranoid. They say I'm not. Well, I can say it, can't I? Then, because according to them, I'm not mentally ill. So there we are then. And as if they're qualified to diagnose anything. Because apparently, according to that caseworker, he came out to the hotel. No, somebody was sent out to the hotel without my knowledge to view me, to say I have no mental illness at all. I'm fine. I'm sure you'll disagree with that yourself, because I don't care, but I am. I know I have. Strange how the consultant psychiatrists don't agree with him, isn't it? Anyway, so that's what they said about that, and that I don't need a social work. I don't need any help at all. And I'm suicidal, and I'm on the streets, and I'm scared shitless. I have zero money. My heart's broken. I'm crying hysterically all the time. I'm not now, because I've been asleep now for, I don't know, they let me in early. They were lovely. And they let me in early to the hotel at about 9 o'clock, which was great because they had a spare room. Okay, it hurts to swallow. But now I'm going to leave at approximately, I think it's about 11ish, isn't it? I've got to leave by 12. And I don't know, I have zero money. The bank can't do anymore. It was a goodwill gesture. And I don't know what I'm going to do now when I leave. And that's what's worrying me. Because these people have been absolutely horrendous. And I mean, it shows they're really against me. Because this woman before was just hard and uncaring, but dumped me in this horrible hostel, one of her places. And now I can't cope with hostels anyway. I'd rather be outside and freeze to death. It's safe outside because you've got the trees and everything. It's just I do need somewhere to sleep. I don't feel well. But I can't go in there with heroin addicts. So the last one was a male hostel that they put me in with heroin addicts. And it was disgusting. It's where they lock the doors on you like a prison cell. I couldn't cope with that. I said, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not going to be locked in. So I came out there in a terrible state. And sorry, it hurts to swallow, that's all. And I mean, I'm deeply traumatized, and I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm really, really scared. So I'll be outside again in Southport tonight, and I don't know what to do because no one's going to help me. So if you're in the Southport area, please come and look for me. I'll either be in the McDonald's or wandering around the streets, because you sit in there. They don't really want you sitting there all the time. I can tell that. They're not rude enough to move you on. But it's uncomfy in there, and they got this cold air blowing down anyway. And the seats are hard and uncomfy sitting in there, and they have this loud music. So it's better to go on a bench outside if you can. But I don't have any thick clothing with me, really. And I'm in this, they've got these thin dresses, that's all, and an anorak. And it's just, I can't be living outside much more. I really need some help off somebody. If somebody could help me, please, I'd be grateful. Please, help me and look for me. I'm in Southport, sleeping outside. Please help me. Well, not sleeping, I'm staying awake. I'm on the streets of Southport all the time now. So anybody in the Southport area who sees this, or you know anybody there, could come out to me, please, to either give me food or please, I go back to your house for shelter on sofa or something, because I'm really scared and no one's helping me. And maybe you know the appropriate people who will help me, because nobody is helping me. I thank you very much. I'm desperate. I've got to pack up and leave now. But thank you very much. Bye-bye.